السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي. Welcome back, dear brothers and sisters. Going forward to our lessons, inshallah, we're doing class 16 today. And today we're going to do lesson number 7 from Medina book 2. And before we go into the lesson, what we're going to do is just going to see what are the things we're going to cover in this chapter and just give it a brief idea, inshallah. So today we're going to learn about Kana, which means he was, and we'll be using zu. We've done this before. It's a special mudaf which means possessor of, and we're going to use alladhi, which is isma mawsula, which means that which for an object, and the one who if it is a human being. And if it is the verbs which we're going to use is dhahaba, which means he went, laiba, he played, sami'a yasma'u, you need to know the bab as well, dhahaba yadhhabu, qara'a yaqra'u, he read, sami'a yasma'u, he heard, sami'a, he heard, shafa, he cured, dakhala, he entered, and we're going to use akhaza, he took. So that's a brief summary for what we're going to cover in the chapter, inshallah. So going forward, so we'll be doing ad-darsu sabi'a. So what is sabi'a? Is sab'a. It's coming as an ordinal number, seventh lesson. So this is a conversation between father and his children. So first he will have a discussion with sons, and then later on we'll have with the daughters. Previous lesson we did a discussion between mom, son and daughter. So now we're doing plurals, we're doing sons and daughters. So as previous lesson, what we're going to do is we're going to break this into two halves. We'll do with the sons first and understand how it is constructed, what's going on in the sentences, and then we move on to the next half, inshallah. So the father, al-abu, says, Aina zahabtum, Aina zahabtum, ba'd ad-darsi ya abna'i. So Aina, so you know it is Adat al-Istifham is asking question. So zahabtum zahab is a fa'il and tum is fa'il. So it is antum in front of you. You're telling to the males, more than two in front of you. So Aina, where did you go? So it means dhahab. The fi'l madi means the action has already been taken place. So where did you go? Ba'da. Ba'da is your maf'ulun bihi wa huwa. It is the zarf, and what comes after zarf is mudaf ilayhi. So ba'da darsi, after the lesson, ya abna'i. So ibnun, the plural is abna'un, and here it is mudaf and mudaf ilayhi, abna'i, O my sons. So aina dhahabtum ba'da darsi ya abna'i, where did you go? So we are using did you go. So that's how you translate in the past tense. So the father is asking akuratul qadami. So if we see here a and is coming together, so he's asking question. So but he's asking about two things. So a and they separate two things. What are those things? Kurratun means ball. So is kurratal qadami. So we have to understand why it is fatha and why it is kasra here. Okay. So laibtum. So laib is a fa'al and tum is a fa'il. That means you all played. You played what? Kurratal qadami. Why kurratal qadami is coming first? Because of this pattern of asking question where there are two things are separated. So this is a maf'ulun bihi, which is coming first. After a is a harfu istifham. Akuratal qadami is mudaf ilayhi, maf'ulun bihi wa huwa mudaf and mudaf ilayhi. Akuratal qadami laibtum am kuratas salati. This means football, ball of foot, literally, but means football. Is it football you played or a basketball? Salatu means basket or a basketball. So abnaun, the sons, it says laibna. So whenever the question has tum, then the answer will have na, we. So if it is ta, it will be tu. If it is tum, it will be na, whether it is male or female. لعبنا, we played. اليوم, today. So what did we play today? كرة القدم. So we played today football. So again, كرة القدم, كرة is مفعول به and اليوم is ظرف, and this one is ظرف and مضاف إليه. So لعبنا, we played. كرة السلة, the basketball. في الأسبوع, see, in أسبوع means week, and see الأسبوع الماضي, so it means not man'out, so we'll translate not first and then man'out. So we played the basketball in last week. So we played in last week. Al-Abu is asking, أما ذهبتم إلى المكتبة اليوم? Did you not go? Again, ذهب and tum is fa'il and fa'il. So did you not go to maktaba? It's a library today. اليوم, today. Up now, the children says bala. So we know whenever there is a question with negation verb, then that is answer. If it is affirmation, we will say bala, indeed, yes. ذهبنا, we went. So ذهب and na is the fa'il, we went. So Al-Abu is asking, ماذا قرأتم هناك? So what, ماذا means what, and what did you read over there? Is a قرأ and is a fa'il and tum is fa'il. هناك is ظرف. So what did you read over there? So the children is saying al-abna'u qara'na. So his qara'tum will become qara'na. We read as-suhufa. So as-suhufa is plural for sahifatun, which means paper, newspaper. Suhufa means newspapers. We read newspapers. Fa'il and fa'il and maf'ul bihi. So Al-Abu is asking again, Asami'atum. See, a is harf istifham. Sami'atum. Sami'a, he heard. Sami'atum, you all heard. Did you all hear? So it's past tense. Sami' and tum is fa'il. Al-akhbara means the news. Khabarun and akhbar. The news. Minal iza'atil yawmi. Did you hear the news today? Iza'atun means radio. So today, did you hear the news from radio today? Radio station, you can say. So al-akhbara is the maf'ulun bihi. So the abna says na'am sami'naha. See, sami'naha. Sami' is a fa'il, na is fa'il. So we heard, ha is maf'ul bihi, it. Why it is ha here? Because here it is describing akhbar is kullu jama muannath, so treated as a single female. So we say sami'naha. So news. So we heard it. So the father is asking children, min ayyi iza'atin sami'tum. So min ayyu, you know, it is always comes as a mudaf, and we have mudaf ilayhi after that. So in which radio station did you hear? So from which radio station did you hear? So the Abdullah says sami'na min thalatha iza'atin. See, thalatha iza'atin is a muannas word, so we have a mudhakkar number. So 3, and it is jam'u iza'atin. So 3 stations. So we heard it from 3 stations. Which are those? So min iza'atir riyada. Min iza'atir riyadi. Min harf jar, iza'ati is your ism majrur, wa huwa mudaf, and ar-riyad is mudaf ilayhi. Same again, wa iza'atil qahirati wa iza'atil landana. See, so we have here proper ma'arab nouns which takes kasra, and landano is dipped out, so it will be landana wa iza'ati landana. Al-Abu. Sami'tu, I heard. Anna. See, Anna min akhwatu inna. So we know inna will have ism inna and khabar inna. So anna will also have ismu anna and khabar anna. So ismu inna is mansoob. So if you remember this ayat, inna Allah ghafurur rahim. So always the ism will be mansoob. So anna will also have mansoob. Anna bilalan maridun, and maridun is your khabar, and we know the types of khabar, 5 types. So when it is one word, it is marfu. So I heard that Bilal is sick. Wow is ataf. Annahu, so again anna is coming. So that he, so did he, who is your ismu anna fil mustashfa is your khabar, jar majrur shibu jumla khabar fil mustashfa, and annahu, so that is ismu anna and khabar anna, and here who is ismu anna and fil mustashfa khabar. Asahihun hada, is this true? Al-Abna, this is na'am, yes. Hada sahihun, this is true. Hada mubtada, sahihun is khabar, and there is this say shafahullahu. See, shafahullahu, the verb is shafa with mad, alif mad here. So the root word we know, we did in our previous class, it is shafaya, but ya is written as alif maksura shafa. But when shafa, a maf'ulun bihi is attached, that alif maksura will turn into alif mad, and that's why we have shafa who, and who is maf'ulun bihi, and which is the who is the fa'il here, Allahu. So how do we translate? So may Allah cure him. So may Allah cure him, that's a dua. So Al-Abu is telling Ameen. So Ameen, it has a different, we'll just understand what it means. We'll see how it is constructed later on, which means be it be or may be accepted. Shafahullahu Ameen. Mata dakhala al-mustashfa. So when did he enter? Dakhala means he entered. So fa'il is mustatir, taqdiru huwa. Here huwa means Bilalun. So when did he enter? Al-mustashfa. That is, mustashfa is your maf'ulun bihi. And here we need to see the root word is here, say shafa, to cure. So mustashfa is a place of seeking cure. So mustashfa. So this is the word you have to identify. So al-abna says dakhala, he entered. Qabla. Qabla is your maf'ulun bihi wa huwa zarf, and outcomes after zarf is your qabla is zarf zaman, and you have salasati is your mudaf ilayhi. Salasati ayyamin. So he entered before 3 days. So Abu says Ain al-kitabu. So where is the book? Zu. See, zu, we know it comes special mudaf, it always has a mudaf ilayhi, which means possessor of. So where is the book that has al-ghilafi? Ghilaf means cover. So ghilaf means cover, and al-ahmari, so it's not manut, same status and endings. So it's ahmar means red. So where is the book that which has red cover? Allazi kana. See, allazi is your isma mawsula. Again, it is describing the whole book here. So the book which is having red cover, and again that which allazi. So we know allazi is isma mawsula. So what are we looking now? Silatul mawsul. So here kana fi ghurfati. So kana is a verb which is coming as a silatul mawsul. So we have to understand this verb kana. So we know that the fa'al, every word is formed with 3 root words, which is fa, ain and lam. That has been given the pattern, the fa, ain and lam. So every verb and every word will have this root letters, and they come together to form a fa'al. So we have to understand the types of fa'als so that we understand this word kana. So the fa'al, there are 2 parts to it. One, the way it is constructed, this construction, and the fa'il that has a meaning. So there's two parts to it. One is how it is constructed, and second, what it means. So based on construction, we have what is called as salim words. Okay, salim, fa'il, and what is called as naqis. Naqis means it has got weak letters, and salim means it does not have any weak letters. So what are the weak letters? We have alif, ya, and waw. So any fa'il which in its construction which has these three letters, so we call it as naqis. Okay, so it can be either it can have one of these letters, two of these letters. Very rarely you have all these three letters to forming a fa'il. And coming to the meaning of the fa'il, so depending on the meaning, so we have fa'il lazim, which means it describes the complete action. So you don't need anything else. For example, we know we've done jalasa, he sat, it's complete meaning, so you don't need anything else. So fa'il muta'addi, which is called transitive, which means that the action has been taken upon something, so you need to have more information, so that is called an object or maf'ulun bihi. So we need to, in the meaning, it needs to have a little bit more added. But both fa'il muta'addi and fa'il lazim on their own, they can be have complete sense. For example, if you say he read, so reading is a complete action, so it makes a complete sense, but it needs to have more object. So he read what, and he sat. But certain verbs, they are deficient in the basic meaning, and those are called naqis again. So there are two types. One is in construction, they have these naqis words, the weak letters, and in the meaning also it is deficient. Let me give some example. So we say he read, it makes sense. He read, the reading makes a full sense. So jalasa, he sat, so it makes a sense. So these are called fa'il ta'man. So we know kana means he was, so it doesn't make complete sense, so you need more information. So we've done another example before, which is laisa, which means he is not, so we need to have more information to describe this fa'il. So whenever we have a fa'il in which in its inherent meaning it does not make full sense, what we need to bring, for example, kana, which means he was, so he was what, so we need to have what is called as ism kana and khabar kana. So we don't say the fa'il and fa'il, we'll say fa'il, but we don't say fa'il, we say ism and khabar. So here again we need to understand the root letters of this verb kana. So we know this alif maksura and this alif mad, they are not actual letters, but they are just a sounds which help us to pronounce the word. So what is the root word here? Is ka wa na. So this is the original letter waw, which has been changed into this alif mad, so which becomes kana. So how do we conjugate? So we're not going to conjugate the full version because we're going to do again in detail later. What we'll do is we'll do the first 5, which is kana, he was, kana, they both were. So if it is more than one, we'll say they were. If it is single, we'll say was. Kanu means they were. Kanat means she was. If it is singular, we'll say was. If it is more than one, we'll say were. Kanata, they both were feminine. So this is how we change. And from hunna, the things will change. We're going to do it later, inshallah. So just give an example. Kana, he was. So we say kana Muhammadun taliban. So kana, like laisa, it has ism which is marfu, unlike inna and anna, in which the ism is mansub. So the way to remember is kana is to remember laisa. So if you remember the verse alaysa Allahu bi ahkamil hakimin, say laisa Allahu, it is marfu. So kana will also have the ism marfu and the khabar is mansub. So kana Muhammadun taliban, Muhammad was student. So say kana Hamidun maridan, so Hamid was sick. So this is how we have the verb Kana is used. So going to our conversation. So he said, Ain al-kitab zul ghulafil ahmari. So where is the book that which has a red cover and that which was Kana. So Kana is coming as a silatul mawsul. So we're looking at ism and khabar. So ism here is mustatir, taqdeeruhu huwa, and it's yadullu ala kitab zul ghilafil ahmari, and fi ghurfati is jar majrur shibu jumla khabar, and ghurfati is ism majrur wa huwa mudaf and ya mutakallim mudaf ilayhi, in my room, which was in my room. So where is the book with red cover which was in my room? Ra'aytumuhu. See, again we have to understand this. Ra'aytumuhu. So what is this verb? So this verb is ra'a. So this means he saw. For example, we say he saw what? For example, it means maf'ulun bihi. If you give Muhammadan, it's here maf'ulun bihi. So ra'ayta, so you saw Muhammadan, you saw Muhammad. Ra'aytu, I saw Muhammad. Ra'aytum Muhammadan. So whenever we have ra'aytum and we have a proper noun, so we write it normally. But if you make this Muhammadun or the noun into a pronoun, a damir, and then there is some change happening in ra'aytum. So we're just going to see how it is written. See, it is written as ra'aytumuhu. So what are the changes we are seeing here? So ra'i is your fa'il, tum is your fa'il, but instead of sukun, that sukun is changed into dhamma. But along with dhamma, there is another addition which we write waw. So the waw is added only in antum and when it is attached with the attached pronoun. So ra'aytumuhu. So we'll see a lot of this in the Quran. So ra'aytumuhu. And again, if ra'aytum is followed by al, then we don't write this waw. For example, we say ra'aytumul mudarrisa. So that sukun is changed into dhamma because of iltiqa'i sakinaini. This al does not have a its hamzatul wasl, so it is missed. So we say ra'aytumul mudarrisa. So you saw. So this is how it is written. So ra'aytumuhu. So he's asking, did you see it? The book. So Yusuf is saying, one of his sons says, Ana akhaztuhu. So I took it. So akhaz is your fa'il and tu is fa'il. Akhaza is he took, akhaztu is I took, and who is it? The kitab. Al-barihata. Al-barihata means yesterday. It's like ams means also yesterday, and barihata is also yesterday. Wa qara'tu, and I read. Fa'il. Nisfahu. Nisfa is your maf'ulun bihi wa huwa mudaf, and who is mudaf ilayhi, and I read half of it. So I took it yesterday and I read half of it. Nisfahu mudaf ilayhi. Wa aynal majallata. See, aynal majallata. Where is the magazine? So allati kanat tahta dhakal kitabi. So you have to understand what's happening, how it is connected. Al majallatu. So if it is mubtada, so allati, it is ismu mawsula because it is a muannas, we use allati, and it is connected to majallatu, which is describing majalla. Where is the magazine? That which was. So now we need to have silatul mawsul when there is ismu mawsula. So kanat is your fa'al, jumlatul fa'al, coming as a silatul mawsul. So now we know kana is a fa'il naqis, so it will have ism and khabar of its own. So kanat means here, which refers to majallatun, it was, and what is the khabar is tahta. Zarf is your khabar kana. But tahta, what comes after tahta is your mudaf ilayhi. And so tahta is connected to kanat because it is a ismu kana, and zaka is connected to tahta because after zarf comes mudaf ilayhi. So zaka is your mudaf ilayhi, and al kitabi is, we know after ismu ishara, when there is al, it is badal. So this al kitab is connected to zaka, that book. So where is the magazine? That which was under that book. So this is how the whole connection is established, and it's easy to understand. So Bilal says, ahadihi here, is this that? So for the sayings, la al majallatu, the magazine, zatu. So why we have zatu? So the previous sentence we said al kitabu zu because it is mudhakkar, and zatu is muannath. Zatu, which has al ghilaf al asfari, which is having a yellow cover. Asfar means yellow, and not man'ud, al ghilaf al asfari. So Marwan, so one of his another son, he says, hiya indi. So hiya mubtada, indi is zarf shibu jumla khabar and mudaf ilayhi. It is with me. Akhaztuha, I took it. Al-yawma, took it today. So telling Yarinnul jarasa. So when this is happening, so what happens here? Yarinnu means this is mudari, which means the action is being taking place. So the madi is ranna, it rang. Yarinnu means it rings. So what rings? We're looking for the fa'il al jarasu. Al jarasu with dhamma, we know that is the fa'il, which is bell. The bell rings. The action is happening. Fa is ataf, fayaqumu marwanu. Qama yaqumu. Qama means he stood. Yaqumu means he standing. So here it says, and Marwan stands, wa and yaftahul baba, and he is opening the door. The action is being taking place. So the bell rings, and Marwan stands, and he goes, and fataha yaftahu, he opens the baba. See, baba is the maf'ulun bihi, he opens the door. Wa and ataf tadkhulu, dakhala yadkhulu, tadkhulu. So we need to look what it is. Is it anta, or it is the file is referring to here, or see akhwatu who, and enters his sisters. So Marwan's sisters. So when the bell rings, Marwan stands and he opens the door, and who enters? His sisters enters. So here we come to end of our class. Inshallah, in next session we will see a discussion between the sisters, brothers, and dad. So I hope you enjoyed this lessons. We will see you again. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.